right. So we are doing two webinar presentation on two different tours that the Chamber has booked. One of them is going to Italy on May the 27th of 2026. And the other one is going to Ecuador. And the Ecuador, which is a 7-day trip, has also got an extension, an optional extension to Peru. Should you want to take it, you can also extend yourself and go and see the beautiful Cusco and Machu Picchu from there. So the objective of the first, because I'll have to obviously do, the first presentation and the second presentation, so the objective of the first presentation and the second is the same, which is to present to you these particular tours so that you, the listeners, the patrons, learn the feature, know the fact, and book this fascinating tour at, and very, very good price. The topics that we're going to discuss in our first presentation is some facts and knowledge, tour highlights, what does it include and not include, and a brief narration of the essence of Italy, Rome, Tuscany, Lake Como, and Venice tour, which I'm going to present. In order to save your time and everyone else's time, I will not elaborate a lot because there are a lot of slides because, each tour one is 11 days and the other one, along with the extension, is 12 days. So, there's a lot to show. So some of the, for example, the details of the daily itinerary, I'm going to skip it because you have got the brochure, which is on Chamber's website. You can always get a copy of the brochure, and you can read all the details of the daily itinerary in there. So I will skip that a bit in order to save some time, everybody's time. Let's talk about some of the interesting facts of Italy. Italy is famous for what? Italy is famous for its rich culture, for its cuisine, everybody knows, history, for fashion, for art, for beautiful coastline, for beaches, for mountains, for ancient monuments, and a small, tiny country, comparatively speaking, is the only country which has got 58 World Heritage Sites, UNESCO World Heritage Sites, in a single country, more than any other country. And that's why I said a relatively smaller country, because in spite of being, huge countries around the world, no one has got 58 World Heritage Sites in a single country. Also, some other very interesting facts is that the Colosseum, the Florence Duomo, the Grand Canal, Venice, Pisa Tower, Vatican City, Uffizi Gallery, the Cinque Terre, the Lake Como, the Pantheon, the Verona's Roman Arena, the Trevi Fountain, the Amalfi Coast, the St. Mark's Basilica, which is in Venice, the Pompeii, Milan Duomo, Valley of Temples, the Rialto Bridge, which here, the Rialto Bridge is this one, this very popular picture around the globe. Capri, San Vitale, and Byzantine mosaic, they all are in Italy. You can imagine how many of these, fantastic, fabulous, world-class monuments and, things that we can remember Italy with. The capital of the country, Rome, is more than 2,000 years old. And some of the brand names like Ferrari, Barilla, Gucci, Prada, Armani, Versace, Lamborghini, Fiat, and Nutella, all of them, they belong to Italy. Italy is world's second largest wine producer, one of the top wine producer of the world. And also, Milan is one of the world's fashion capital. So a lot of, fashion that, comes into the new styles of the, of the world that comes in, a lot of it also, comes in from Milan. It starts in Milan, in addition to France and some other countries around. There are more than 17 million Italians who live in the United States with a connection. That means they're the Italian Americans. They may be in their third, fourth, fifth generation, whatever, but they are of the Italian descent. So more than 17 million out of a population of 250 million people are of the Italian descent in the United States. Italy is also the birthplace of Fibonacci, Galileo, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and so on and so forth. So many names. And some of the, very popular Hollywood movies like Gladiator, Hannibal, Quantum of the Solace, Twilight, New Moon, and 24 other major Hollywood movies. They were all shot in one or the other part of Italy. And when it comes to, the religious, especially, importance of the country, especially from the Catholic denomination of the Christians, let me just tell you that Rome alone has more than 900 churches. So that's some interesting facts. Let's straight away, jump onto a featured product, which is called the Essence of Italy: Rome, Tuscany, Lake Como, and Venice. With North San Diego Business Chamber, this trip is scheduled to depart on May the 27th of 2026. It's an 11-day tour, and the itinerary that we're going to cover in this tour is San Diego to Rome, Rome to Montecatini, Terni, from there to Lake Como, to Venice, and back to San Diego. The price per person of this trip is $5,729 per person on double occupancy basis. And should one of you, want to want to stay on a single occupancy basis, that means you do not want to share, the room with someone else, that person will have to pay an additional $1,179 in order to have a 9 nights accommodation on single occupancy basis. You can hold this, the space on this trip with a $500 deposit today, and your final balance will come due by January 27. It's usually 120 days before departure, so that will 120 days will be January 27 of 2026 is what you have to pay the final departure, final payment. The trip includes round-trip airfares from San Diego, 9 nights accommodation on double occupancy basis, second class round-trip train tickets between Montecatini, Florence, and back. It's only a 47 minute trip, so it's a short trip. Daily breakfast at the hotel, welcome and farewell dinner. So there will be 4-course meal in Rome, which is your welcome dinner, and there will be also a farewell dinner in Venice. Long-term earphone rental for the guided tours, all guided tours as per the itinerary. Full-time English-speaking tour escort who will remain with you, deluxe private coach and boat transfers as specified in the brochure, portrait services in Venice. Rest of the places you have to haul your own baggage. Entrance fees to the Vatican Museum, to the Sistine Chapel, which is, the part of the Vatican Museum, and the Via Carlotta Tramezzo, which is in the Lake Como area. And there's also one gondola ride included in Venice, all taxes and the local taxes, except the city tax, which I'm going to, present to you, which I'm going to speak about in my last slide, where the city tax is something that you have to pay approximately 7 euros per day per room during that. And even if you want to pay us, we cannot take it. It will be charged directly by the hotel, when you check in. So they will take the impression of your credit card, and then, they will charge you for that amount, or you can pay them cash, whatever you like. So the highlights of the trip is that you're going to visit the Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel, which, the picture appears over here, and St. Peter's Basilica, with a licensed tour guide. So you will have a full escorted tour. So this is not your escort who's accompanying you. For every specific tour, there will be a local guide who will come who's an expert of that particular, tour that you are taking. So when you go to the museum and Sistine Chapel and the Basilica, the St. Peter's Basilica, you have a separate tour guide who will come. You will also go for the Baroque Rome walking tour, which has all the beautiful sights of the Trevi Fountain, the Pantheon, the Piazza Navona, and all that. You will also go to Florence, and you'll have a fully guided walking tour again, including the cathedral and the Piazza della Signoria. You will also explore and go to Siena and San Gimignano with wine and oil testing. When I say oil, is with the olive oil testing in Chianti. You are going to cruise on Lake Como with visits to Tramezzo, Varenna, and Bellagio. You are also going to go on a tour to the romantic city of Verona, including Juliet's balcony and the Roman Arena. And you're going to take a guided walk in Venice and also ride a traditional gondola ride through its canals. So these are the highlights of the trip of Italy. On day one, we are going to fly from San Diego to Rome. we still do not have any bookings come through, but tentatively, we are holding on to these flights, which are the Lufthansa flights, departing on May the 27th from San Diego to Munich at 5:15 p.m. So an excellent connection, excellent flight. You do not have to go early in the morning. You can still have a half a day in whatever you want to do, and then you can go to San Diego Airport. Take a Lufthansa 467, which will bring you in Munich the next day afternoon at 1:20 p.m. At 4:40 p.m., so just 1 hour and 20 minutes, beautiful connection. You will have a Lufthansa 1870, which will bring you into Rome local time at the Fiumicino Airport at 6:15 p.m. on May the 28th. On your return flight, you will be taking a regional flight from Venice. Remember, you're entering into Rome, but you're coming out of Venice on your international flight. So you'll take a regional flight from Venice on June the 6th, which departs at 9:55 in the morning. Again, a reasonable, decent departure, not early in the morning. So it gives you the opportunity to have the breakfast, and then, you can proceed to the airport. Brings you into Munich at 11 a.m. 1 hour 45 minutes at 12:45. You'll take a Lufthansa 466, and you'll arrive back in San Diego on the same day, on June the 6th at 3:25 p.m. in the afternoon. These are the tentative flights. 99% we hold on to these flights, but for operational reason, we have the rights of changing the flights. But what we guarantee you, that whatever airline it will be a full service airline, be it the American Delta United or be it one of the European airlines, which can be KLM, Air France, British Airways, any of those airlines. But 99% when you're holding on to this, just to give you an idea, in case if there was a non-stop flight from San Diego to Rome, it would have still taken a 14 and a half hours. It's a long distance that you're traveling. And I'm sure that you being on the West Coast, you have traveled many a times onto Europe, and Italy happens to be a little bit, towards eastern side. So it's not like England or Ireland or France, which will, so you have further 1 hour, 1.5 hour more of the air travel time before you arrive into the Rome airport. On day 2, when you arrive at Rome airport, you will be received by a representative. You will be transferred, and you will check in your hotel. And of course, you are extremely very tired, so you can relax. Any of the flight is arriving kind of late, so by the time you arrive into your hotel, I anticipate, it will be approximately 8:30ish, 9 p.m. So you can just quickly have your dinner, whether at the airport or in the hotel, and then you go to sleep and relax for the night. Next day morning, before I go to next day morning, your home for next 2 nights is going to be Hotel Cristoforo Colombo. Now, you see this map over here. When you look at any of the Google Maps in European cities, especially, whatever is within this circle is supposed to be downtown. Everything within the circle is downtown. So yes, we are not very much in the middle of the thing, but I can tell you that, from here, for example, to Colosseum, it's just about 8.5 miles. So if you took an Uber, perhaps it will not cost you more than 16, 18, maybe $20 there to reach there at 20 minutes ride. And there are other attractions which are close by. This is a 4-star hotel. On Google's review, out of 5,000 reviews, it has earned itself a 4-star out of 5-star. So the hotel category is 4-star, but on a Google review out of 5-star, it has got a 4-star that is on. Some of the pictures of the entrance of the hotel, one of the bedroom, the breakfast area, and the rooftop swimming pool, which you can see. This is going to be a home for 2 nights upon arrival on day 2, and also on day 3, we are going to sleep in this hotel. On day 3, we are going to go first to the, after breakfast, obviously. Every day we have breakfast first. So we're going to go into the Vatican, that we're going to see, the Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel. We're going to explore the St. Peter's Basilica, which is a masterpiece of faith and art. And then when you finish with that, your guide will tell you whether there is time for you to go back to hotel, take a short, rest, or remember that this is going to be your private tour with a private guide. If Chris is accompanying you and he's the, your tour leader, And if you all decide that, no, we do not want to go back to a hotel, let's continue and, finish our Rome walking tour as well, then you can have a, lunch somewhere just outside, the Vatican when you come out. And then you will continue, and your guide will take you on the Baroque Rome, walking tour, which will go to all the famous sites like the Trevi Fountain, the Pantheon, the Piazza Navona, and there will be, after you're done, and this is what I recommend, that you should rather finish both of this, and then after that, you go take a little bit of rest, because in the evening, you have a welcome dinner in the beautiful Trastevere district, which is going to be, so, you might as well finish the tour, take a couple of hours of rest. Your guide will tell you what time we are going to, is going to pick you up, and then you will go for your welcome dinner on that day. Some of the pictures that you see on your screen, the Vatican Museum over here, the Sistine Chapel. Usually I go and describe, some more based on my experience. But like I told you, I do not have the time, the liberty of the time, and therefore I'll have to push this. St. Peter's Basilica over here, the Piazza Navona, very, very popular. The Baroque Rome over here, the Pantheon, very popular. And this is the picture of the Trastevere district where your dinner is going to be, held for your welcome dinner. Some more pictures of this fascinating site of Rome. I cannot stop myself from saying this. Rome is one country, in addition to one more, which I'll tell you which one, where if they dig anything more than 10 foot, they will find something underneath. And the law of the government is that if they find something, they must cordon off the area and then, keep on doing all the research of what did they find. So they have stopped doing it. And you'll see many sites, in the city which has been cordoned off because they discovered something and now it has been cordoned off. So it's an amazing place full of history. And here are some more pictures of the fountains, of the Naiads, the very popular Trevi Fountain, where people go and throw coins in the water and things like that. Here is the picture of the Pantheon, for example, and Palazzo Madama, for example. So these are some of the sites on day 4. You will go from Rome, so you will have your breakfast, and you will depart Rome for a scenic drive through the Lazio and Tuscany. And whilst you are traveling, you will pass through a lot of vineyards and olive groves and hilltop villages, and you will arrive in the elegant Montecitini Terme, which is, famed for its thermal spas and also its modern art architecture. Your evening is at leisure, and again, your hotel is, quite in the downtown, so you can just get out and, you have different Tuscanian food over there. Montecitini Terme is actually very popular for its therapeutic thermal waters and spas. And they have attracted visitors for centuries. As a matter of fact, some of these spas and some of these, waters have been discovered back in the 16th century. And that's why it has been made, one of Italy's most famous spa towns, this one. And again, some of the pictures, these are the pictures on the way. And this is one of the spa center over here, and you look at local cafes into Montecitini Terme over here. This place is something where you're going to stay for 3 nights. And the reason we are making you stay here for 3 nights is because we do not want you to check in and check out on a daily basis. So instead of you checking out on a daily basis and, hauling your baggage, we will take you one by one day to, Florence, then we'll bring you back, then we'll take you, and these places are very nearby. So we're staying 3 days, and we are staying in a beautiful hotel again, which is called the Hotel Centenarial. Please pardon me if I'm not, pronouncing this, and one of you knows Latin, then, please pardon me. This again is a 4-star hotel, and out of 606 Google reviews, it has also earned itself a 4 out of the 5-star, which is an excellent category. External picture of the hotel, one of the bedroom, the sitting area, and also the swimming pool that this particular hotel has got. You're home for 3 nights. Remember, on day 4, day 5, and day 6. On day 5, we will be having breakfast, and we'll take a short train ride to Florence, which is the cradle of the Renaissance. This train ride will not exceed more than anywhere between 40 to about 50 minutes. not more than that. Very comfortable train. So your guide will come, he'll take you, and you will go on a guided walking tour of Florence, which will cover your Duomo, your baptistry, your Piazza della Signoria, and you will also the Ponte Vecchio spanning the Arno River. Then you will have some free time for museums, for shopping, or Tuscan lunch, whatever you like to do. After you're done with your tour, you will again sit on the train and you will be brought back in Montecatini for your overnight stay back in there. On day 6, we will take another day trip, but this time we will go in a coach. So you will have breakfast again, and we will go on a day trip to Siena, San Gimignano, and Chianti. So we will visit Siena first, which has very popular for stunning cathedral and Piazza del Campo. Here is the picture of the Piazza del Campo. This is the walled city of the Siena over here, as you can see there, and also the cathedral, which is right over here, this particular cathedral. This is a picture of San Gimignano and the palazzi of the noble families on this side over here. On the way, when you are going for this tour, if you have, sufficient people have shown interest, then you will have an optional Chianti wine tasting in Greve. So, and Chianti is a very popular region, as you know, for its rosé and for red and for, white wine, whatever you want to have, all that wine tasting, just $50. Absolutely worth it. I very highly recommend that you go ahead and take this optional trip so that everybody can go and enjoy. And if a majority of people have taken it and some people do not want to go, they can stay, within the coach or just, get out and, so if more than 50% of all the booked people have booked it, then we'll definitely go and make a stop over there. This is how, the visit of the Greve and Chianti, which is you're gonna taste the fine regional wines of Chianti over here, and some of the picture of the wines over here. It's very, very popular. I'm sure you know this better than I do, perhaps. On day 7, we will check out of the hotel and we will go from Montecatini to the beautiful, beautiful lake districts of northern Italy to the Lake Como, and we are gonna travel via Modena. And we will again have an optional stop in Modena for a traditional balsamic vinegar experience. So these vinegars are made there for centuries again, and it's only $40. And this tour doesn't take a long time, so you can do this experience over there, and then you can continue and arrive in the western side of the lake in a place called Tremezzo, which is a picturesque town of Lake Como's western shore. Your evening is at leisure. You can have, the stay in this. I'll show you which hotel you're staying. Just give me 1 second. So 2 nights, you're going to stay at the Hotel Central, Cernobbio in Lake Como, and look at the beautiful picture of the hotel over here. This is the external, one of the bedroom, one of the dining experience, the outside sitting area, and, one of the other, library sitting area on this side. As you can see, this is the lake over here, and your hotel is on this side. Again, it's a 4-star hotel, and Google has given it a 4.1 out of the 5-star. You're home for 2 nights. I just want to tell you that because I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, some of the very, very popular movies of the Hollywood, of which Star Wars, the Episode 2, which is the Attack of the Clones, the Casino Royale, and Ocean's 12, they were all, filmed at the Lake Como at this particular place, which is called Villa del Balbianello. And here I'm just included, 2 pictures of the popular Star Wars, scenery, where, he falls in love with the lady over here. So just a quick, attention that you are going to be visiting one of the most beautiful scenic place on the face of the earth in there. On day 7, you have this is your the balsamic vinegar tour. Just some pictures have been included over here, what you will experience for $40 additional as an optional tour. On day 8, we are going to do a Lake Como excursion by boat. And again, I'm not going to talk. Let this pictures talk over here. Look at this beautiful scenery of the Lake Como, the botanical gardens, the lakeside pathway, the Bellagio, which is very, very popular, Verena, the boutique shops, and the lakeside cafes. So you are going to cruise Lake Como, and you will, visit the Villa Carlotta and its botanical gardens. You will explore Verena and Bellagio, the pearl of the lake. Well, Bellagio is actually, called the pearl of the lake. And then you will have some free time for lakeside cafes and boutique browsing and things like that. And then you will be returned back to Tremezzo by the late afternoon. So that is your day 8. On day 9, after the breakfast again, we will take the coach and travel through the Lombardy region, this time to Verona, before we go to Venice. So we're going to go to Venice, but we are going to stop in Verona, the city of Romeo and Juliet. We will visit, Juliet's balcony, the Roman Arena, and Piazza del Erbe in Verona. Once we are done with this, a short stop of, visiting the city of Verona, we'll continue to Venice, and you will arrive by a private water taxi, because your hotel is actually on the canal, and it's a beautiful 4-star hotel. I shall show you in the next one. And you'll settle into the hotel in the artistic Dorsoduro district, which is very close to the Rialto Bridge. So here we are. That's your hotel, Hotel Carlton on the Grand Canal, 2 nights on day 9 and 10. And you can see this is the hotel in the background, and you have the Rialto Bridge right over here. So you're right in the middle of the lake, the canal over here. See the picture where my cursor is moving? So right in the middle of the lake. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel, 4-star again, and again a 4-star out of 2,500 Google reviews. So you can see this is going to be a home for next 2 nights. On day 10, you will, after breakfast, you will have a guided walking tour of St. Mark's Square, the Doge's Palace, the canals, and you are also going to experience at the end of, the walking tour, the magic of Venice by the gondola ride. On this evening, you will have a farewell dinner in a traditional Venetian trattoria style restaurant, sitting area. Again, some of the picture of the Venice over here, the St. Mark's Basilica, the St. Mark's Square, the gondola ride, and this is going to be your day 10. On day 11, we will go to the airport after breakfast, and we will take the flight from Venice, like I showed you, via Munich, 9:55. You stick with the Lufthansa flight, transfer to the airport, and you will fly back home, and you will arrive back home by 4:25 p.m. on the same day, which is going to be day 11th of this tour. So with this, we have, come to an end of my presentation on Italy. No, sorry, we've not come to the end. Let us now, talk about what did we cover. So we will start, as you can see, in Rome, and then we will travel to, we'll stay 2 nights in Rome, and then we will go to the Montecitorio Terme, which is right over here, and we'll stay 2 nights over there. Then we'll go to Lake Como, which is up here, and then we will stay 2 nights over there, and then finally we'll go to Venice, and we'll stay 2 nights in Venice. So 2 over there, and 1 night on the in between is 3 nights. My apologies. Montecitorio Terme is 3 nights. So it's going to be 6 plus 3, 9 nights accommodation. My apologies over here. If we did this entire trip, by a car nonstop, it's only 635 miles, which we are doing over a course of 10 days. And if you went nonstop, it'll only take 10 hours and 45 minutes. So the point I'm trying to make over here, that at no point in time, you're sitting in a coach in painful, long coach journey. The longest that you have in this trip is 3 hours and 40 minutes from Montecitorio to Lake Como. Everything else is less than that. So it's either 3 hours, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The longest, like I told you again, is when you leave the Montecitorio after 3 nights and you go to Lake Como. That is going to take 3 hours and 40 minutes. Remember, everything is traffic dependent, so, this is what Google tells us today, but, God forbid if there's a traffic issue or some other issue, that this thing can take a little longer. In Italy, of course, being part of European Union, you have euros. Euros has, gained some value, but remember, current currency fluctuates. About 6 months ago, it was 1 to 1. Now, $1 gets you 0.84 euros. Or if I inverse it, you need to pay $1.16 in order to get one, dollar. The May average temperature in Venice and Rome for the Italy trip, temperature of 63, beautiful temperature as you can see, high of 70, that's in Venice by the way, low of 54, day temperature 63 degrees, and the sea temperature, though we are not having any beaches, but just for your information, the sea temperature is 64. In Rome, you have an average temperature of 69, high of 75, so beautiful weather. Some people who experience Rome in the month of July this year, it was unbearably hot. It went 105 degrees. So you are going in a beautiful weather. May is a beautiful weather to go before it starts getting very, very hot. And also because, in June, July, there are millions of people over there. So, it even becomes hotter when you're standing in the queues and things like that. So May is a beautiful time for the visit. So the high of 75, low of 55, day temperature 64, night 62, and the sea temperature is 66 degrees. In Italy, you need a voltage, the voltage is 230, not 120 like hertz. And the plug type is also different. So they have a plug type like C, L, and F. All you need is an adapter. All our modern equipments like your laptops, your book readers, your smartphones, your shaving, whatever that you may be having, everything has got auto voltage, and all hotels 3-star and plus already have hair dryers, so you do not bother about it. So you do not need a converter. All you need is a good adapter, and you can buy an adapter anywhere between $10 to $25. And if you buy a good one, then you have a direct USB connection on the top, and then you do not need a furthermore connection in order to connect your USB. And once you buy this, you can use it internationally wherever you go next on the visit. So you can use it, for example, in Italy. In Ecuador, you don't need, but let's say if you went to South Africa next year, any other place, you can use it. We are a group tour company. We do a variety of group tours, but more than 20% of our business is chamber trips. We did 243 chamber trips in 2024 and 2024, and in 2025 is going to exceed that. So we do more than 20% of our business in the group tours with the chambers of commerce, privately owned, independent business. Therefore, a lot of decisions come quick. For example, one of you wants to be upgraded to business class. Your dedicated tour consultant, there's different tour consultants. There's Natalia for Italy, and there is an Aditya, who is doing your Ecuador. We will share the information a bit later. You have an expert advice from a very knowledgeable team. We are 24 years in business, of which we are doing 15 years the chamber travel, genuine industry recognized consumer protection, A+ rating on BBB, and also, a Google independent partner is doing who does the reviews on us, which can go up and down, but we are holding on to anywhere between 4.6 to 4.8 out of the 5-star rating, which gives us the excellent rating on them. How you book is actually online. I will what has happened is actually I did not have time to change this. So this is showing a different tour with Macomb area chamber, but this is how your first page of the booking looks. So please ignore, I did not have time because this was a long 70 slides presentation and I was busy, so I couldn't do it. But your page will look like this. You can have an overview. When you click on the price and dates, you can go to price and dates, and you can go ahead and book now. If you have traveled with us in past, your same login will work. When you want to go and log in, If you want to create one, then you'll have to create a login with a unique password, which will be known to you. And this particular thing has got beautiful, all the information. So if you click on price and date, it'll give you the price. Itinerary will give you day by day itinerary. It will show you the pictures of all the accommodation in Italy and in Ecuador and in Peru. For example, a lot of destination, related information, like, how to tip, what to buy, local expectations and all that you can look. So it's a beautiful thing that you can do over here. And my apologies again, I'm sorry I could not bring it to the one. And once you go to a couple of pages, you will be able to see, the full details of the tour. You will be able to, enter your personal details, name, date of birth, passport, and you need to pay $500 deposit, like I told you, for your Italy trip in order to hold your space, and your final payment will come due on January the 27th, not June 25th, January the 27th of next year, which is approximately 2 months away from now. When your final payment, 2.5 months away from that. Your dedicated consultant head office is in Natalia. That's her email address. And that's her toll-free number with an extension 828. I'm going to give a deck of this presentation. First of all, this is being recorded, so all of you attending, you will have a link to the recording. Plus, I'm going to share the deck of this presentation, and I'll correct this before I give this deck to Chris, and then he will share this deck of the presentation in PDF format also with you. Your passport must be valid for both the places, at least for 6 months. There are no visa required as of today to both the places. But we are anticipating that Europe, by the time you travel, we were expecting it to happen this year, that they will bring an electronic travel authority requirement, like UK has already implemented it. But whenever it comes through, we will let you know. And remember, it will be something which is done online, doesn't take you more than 5 minutes, and it will never exceed more than $10. I expect anywhere between $6 to $8, but the maximum that it will cost you perhaps will be $10 for the visa, and happens in 5 minutes. If it happens, we'll let you know. Travel insurance is not essential, not necessary for you to travel, but we very highly recommend that you buy travel insurance. And when you will make your bookings online, as a matter of fact, the travel insurance will appear on your screen, and you have the option to accept it or not accept it. One thing, what is a travel insurance? Travel insurance is something whereby once you start traveling, and if your baggage is delayed, or if your baggage is lost, or at the destination you need to visit a pharmacy, a doctor, or God forbid, a hospital, all that is included in travel insurance. What we have is called trip interruption and trip cancellation. What does that mean? Is that, for example, couple of days before departure, somebody, breaks his arm, or somebody's immediate family, falls ill, somebody who's covered under the rules, and this person is unable to travel, minus your premium, the rest of the money will be reimbursed back to you. But remember that trip interruption can only be booked within 14 days of you making a booking. After 14 days, trip interruption is not applicable, not with us and not with anybody. Reason? Insurance companies are the smartest companies on the face of the earth. So somebody develops something and finds out that he or she is not able to travel 2 months down the line, and then they book the trip interruption, is something they do not accept. So when you are making a booking, it's up to you whether you want to buy it from us or you buy it for someone else. We highly recommend that you have a travel insurance and include your trip interruption. Ours does include. There are no health concerns in both the countries whatsoever. And in order to save the time, I will just say that for both the groups, and we have done this in the past, we recommend that you create a WhatsApp group where you have everybody who's going on the trip. That's at the end when I'll do a pre-departure meeting. And also we'll include your guides, your drivers, your local guide, your escort, everybody's number, so that everybody can message everybody and call, make free calls to each other. You can even make free calls back home, including video calls. If you're standing at a beautiful site somewhere in Italy, you can, if you have Wi-Fi or whatever, you can put the phone on and you can show the pictures back to your, to your family back in the United States. If we took those flights, the Lufthansa to Italy and the Americans to Ecuador, you will be allowed 23 pieces of, checked-in luggage, one, carry-on, and one personal item, which can be a small laptop or a lady's purse, for example. If you got yourself, upgraded to a higher category like a business or premium economy, then of course your baggage allowance will change.